I bring this special message to the two sides to the madness going on in eastern Nigeria. The ESN, the IPOB and its leaders, and the federal government of Nigeria and its armed forces. Known gunmen and unknown gunmen. We have also been in touch, and when I say we, I'm talking about the leadership of Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination. We've been in touch with our associates and allies in the international circuit. The United States watching very closely, the EU, all of those who will have to contribute troops if Nigeria snaps into the blue helmet situation. And NINAS, as you well know, is a body of statesmen. They are not politicians or people seeking what they will get from the union. These are statesmen, and we're the last peacemakers left in the arena. Everybody else is pointing guns at everybody else. But we dressed back from the entire situation to say, no, there's a way around this matter beyond the guns and bloodletting, because it doesn't lead anywhere. It can only lead to disaster. And so we look at what's going on in the space there. We must acknowledge that whatever is going on in Nigeria is known to everybody. Nigeria is not working for anybody. The Fulani herdsmen and the Boko Haram and the federal government that seems to be clapping and cheering them on all this while, it's happening all across the country. Just yesterday, we saw the pictures from Gangan in Oyo State, the Barakwa area, everywhere. In the Middle Belt, we saw what's been going on in Benue, such that the governor of Benue had asked people to go get guns wherever they can, taking charge of their lives. It's not different, from the Niger Delta area, and now the southeast so-called is also a part of that wider field of carnage that have been going on. On the one side, people who knew where the problem was coming from, that is the bad constitutional arrangement we have in place that has brought us to all of that, had gone, working out how to solve the problem on a sustainable basis, on a comprehensive basis. And in that intervention, we find this, alliance coalescing in, with a plan and a process that everybody can relate to, including the international community. The US took time to interrogate the plan, several months, and began to see, how it could work, the viability of it. The UN also listened to us at the time we went to tell them what was happening to us. And we remember a rapporteur mission was sent in August of 2019, led by Agnes Kalamat. And her team came out with a verdict that all of these things happening in Nigeria were happening because of the wrong constitutional arrangements that we have that is operating like pressure cooker for injustice. We touch on all of this to say, to let everybody know that everybody knows, acknowledges that there's a problem that needs to be solved. And steps are being taken to solve the problem, culminating in the December 16th constitutional force majeure. It was in the midst of the progress being made towards solving the problem in a peaceful and process-led manner that we woke up to where Nnadi and his IPOB floated what they call the Eastern Security Network. And then, the broadcasts were happening And we saw videos where soldiers and policemen were being killed, and their leader urging them to go to anybody, anywhere you see them in uniform, kill them, don't let them escape. All kinds of things on daily basis. And eventually, it came to where the Olo incident happened, and reprisal operations began from the federal government and the armed forces. It was in the midst of those videos flying around of how soldiers and policemen are to be killed by ESN that the World Igbo Congress, which is the platform of Igbo associations in the US, took out advertorial in Guardian newspaper to praise the emergence of the Eastern Security Network, so-called, and went ahead to begin to raise funds, clapping and cheering for the madness that had been introduced. Not in any way absolving the governors of the East that have chosen to do nothing about the rampage of the Fulani herdsmen and all kinds of other things happening in the place. Unlike the Yoruba space, where they were at least addressing the issue. We saw Amotekun, we saw some level of cooperation amongst them, acknowledging that there's a problem that needs to be solved. Now, World Igbo Congress takes that advertorial, clapping and cheering for the lunacy of killing soldiers and policemen and making videos and making further announcements by way of broadcast for how more could be done. Burn them down. Then the federal government of Nigeria launches its own counter operation, but has come into the situation as one looking for how to exterminate a whole people. And it is in that regard that we're also going to be telling the President of Nigeria and the armed forces that the whole world is watching. My voice is cracked now because of the number of foreigners we have to answer their questions about what's going on in our space. So we talk to them now because the questions of genocide that may arise, the questions of crime against humanity that may arise, will stand on their own merit. It doesn't matter how the story began. There are all kinds of ways of identifying who is doing what and moving in there to deal with it. But if you now come like one who is continuing the war that we thought ended in 1970, but which really never ended, because we saw what the President Buhari, had said, had done. We see what's going on there. So this address on behalf of Ninas is one for cease and desist to the two sides. Cease and desist. Cease and desist to the two sides. The ESN and the unknown government, the federal government of Nigeria and its armed forces, and the unknown government too in between. We call on the two sides to immediately cease and desist, because what is going on there is likely to lead to something none of the sides can control. I would think that there's enough that has happened in the past to guide us to what we can do now before we lose control of the situation. We're no longer in 1967. If anybody was in doubt as to the attitude of the President and Commander-in-Chief of Nigeria Armed Forces to the situation in the eastern Nigeria, it is that tweet that was taken down by Twitter that will give an indication. that the matter has gone far outside the question of the rascality and stupidity of going to kill policemen and soldiers as the answer to a very wide problem that requires a structured engagement to resolve, which is already being done, very far in progress. So again, we say, let it cease as it is, because if it doesn't, we may all lose control of the situation.